But a lot of people, that's their story. Good times, Noodle Salad.
That's a good time for me to start recording. Just bah.
Zoom.
On, but it is
Oh, it is
not.
on.
It's on, but it's not recording.
Yo.
Check it out. You know what?
Check.
You know what I was like? Oh, that sounds good.
Sounds great. Hello, everyone.
I could hide the tones. They don't need to know that we're drinking vodka and coffee and we can't handle it. All right. And recording. All right. And sync.
I should just put the coffee on the table.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't. You were doing that on the.
I'm just
one of
worried
the
about like
episodes.
setting it down and it's like douche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking. You know what I was laughing about? On the drive home from. I took the kids to school. On the drive home, I was laughing about. Uncle Cracker came on.
It did.
Yeah, I gotta take the headphones off. It's already like
Bothering you?
It's already bothering me. I can't talk. There was a video. I'm derailing myself, but there was a video of people like putting on headphones where there was like a 0.2 second delay or something, and they couldn't form a sentence because they were hearing themselves like just off.
There's no delay in these though. I'm really impressed by these cheap ass headphones. They work great.
No, they sound good.
But I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
but all right. So I thought it would be funny to open up the episode by doing a little acapella.
Acapella what? Uncle Cracker? Okay, go ahead, do your thing. Whatever it is. I don't know what you're doing.
You got to join in.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You got to join in. Ready?
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay.
Wait, that's too fast.
Are we doing a beat for something specific?
Yeah, follow me.
Am I doing like other percussive stuff? Like do?
No, the song is Follow Me.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Follow me by who?
I don't know why you left me. I don't know. Okay. All right. Start over.
We are not doing that. We're not doing that at all.
Okay. Let's start off with a song. It'd be funny. You pick a song. I'll jump in.
Dude, I don't know.
Just pick one.
This is not
Any
what I
song.
expected.
Any song at all.
Huh?
Any song at all. I mean, obviously something that I know. Don't start off with like.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, dude, this is fucking Temperus, Little Malice, fucking whatever.
What?
Latin fucking.
No, I don't do that.
All right.
I don't do that. I
Start
don't
off
know
with
those
a song.
songs.
Start off
anyway.
with a song. Start off with a song.
Something takes more. I can't do this. It's so
Tease
silly.
them.
Something lost and never seen. Every time I start to believe something's right.
I was thinking more like a song that we could sing
together. Oh, well, I don't know.
'Cause it would be funny.
We were talking about corn last episode, so I was like, I guess maybe.
All right, so
Let's sing Tool, dude.
let's see.
Okay, we can be different instruments. Brung, brung, brung,
No, that's.
brung,
I don't want to do that at all. Hold. Okay. All right.
Well, that's
all right,
loud.
all right, stop.
Sorry about that.
Hold on,
Sorry about
stop,
that.
Stop. Ready? All right. Get serious.
Okay.
We're performing.
You're right.
It's hot in here.
I gotta. Oh, it is hot, dude. I'm boiling. That's all right though.
Yeah. All right.
I like it. It's like a sauna.
There's a shadow just behind me, shrouding every step I take.
You know what's funny is
Making
no one
every
likes.
promise.
No one even. Oh, I'm clipping a little
Yeah, you're
bit.
clipping.
Sorry, let me move back a little bit. No one likes Tool that much, so it's even funnier that we're saying we should just do like an entire Tool discography, like a cappella, and I'll be
Yeah.
like,
If you think we don't get views now,
right, people are like, Tool, who cares?
shrouding every step I take,
Don't-
making every promise empty,
Pointing
pointing every finger at me. Waiting like a stalking butler.
This is really awkward for me. I don't know. And I'm sure the viewers are going to be like, skip.
Okay.
We thought we liked this podcast.
No,
Not
that
anymore.
was fucking. I thought it would be hilarious. No, well, that's
just
why I want
kidding.
to start
I'm
with a
kidding.
stupid song.
No, that was funny. It was good.
All right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Stupid songs.
Yeah. What stupid song do we know by heart though, other than every Tool song?
They're all stupid. Any like radio song is kind of dumb when you really break it down.
Why you can't turn around.
I don't even know how the
say
words to
goodbye.
that song.
Dude. Kiss from a
How about some-
Rose. That'd be
Ooh.
hilarious and
All right,
corny.
you started off. Come on.
There, you.
There is a green tower alone by the sea. You remain the light on the dark side of me. Love me. We just, yeah.
That was,
Da-da-da. Dude, it'd be great if we were really good at singing because then it'd be even better. But
I think
obviously,
funnier because
it's probably funnier because we're not.
I only know that song because of Batman.
Oh, of course. I do.
I saw a video recently that said
Oh,
that
man.
Seal's career was suffering right around the time that he did that song, and it came out. It was used as like the
Okay,
title
well,
track. For
I don't know
Batman.
how, because wasn't he a UK model? Like, he was a big time model, I thought. Or maybe
that,
maybe
that
that's
doesn't have to
wrong.
do with his music.
Maybe that's totally wrong. Maybe I know he's married to a model, so I could be completely messing
Yeah.
this up. But I thought he was a fashion model. And
no,
then, like, put
no,
out
he's a
song.
topographical map of Mars.
All right, well,
His face.
okay, that's all right.
He's got acne scars.
All right, well,
Okay.
all right. So I don't know if that's what it is, boy.
Watch, it's like actually
That wasn't
he
intent.
was shot in the face as a
All
child.
right.
And you're super,
Oh man.
super inconsiderate.
Oof. I'm getting warm.
Yeah.
That fan's
You want
gonna
me
be too loud though.
Yeah, I'm not putting the fan on. I could put the air on.
Maybe yes.
No, I'll
You
put
might
the
want
air
to do it. I think it's kind of warm out. Actually, well, I don't know. I don't want to.
This has been really stupid. You want to start over?
No, it's fun. It's fun. People are gonna like it. And if they don't, what else is new? What else is new? You guys don't like anything. No one likes anything anymore. Not unless it's a 30-second clip with 100 different things and 100 different emotions in it. And then people are like, yes, I really felt that. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like a child looking at bright colored cartoons. That's what you are.
All right. I might cut a lot of that out.
It might be hilarious. It's probably going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Dude, so I've been posting a lot of shit. I put the air on, so
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
think
at
we're
I'm
fine.
looking at the Zoom. I'm not hearing it, so hopefully it doesn't. The first couple episodes we recorded, I shut the furnace off so you wouldn't hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think you're going to hear it that much because, I mean, these are very sensitive, but at the same time, I don't know that I'm hearing. I'm not hearing the background stuff at all. Like, I mean,
Hold on. If we don't talk for a second, let's see if it's picked up. No, I'm not seeing it register at all.
good.
So I think we're okay. Dude, so I've been posting a ton of shorts on
yeah,
Facebook and YouTube and Instagram.
yeah,
Have you been watching them?
yeah. I've seen them all. I would love to help, but like you got a little bit of time off of work. I'm been
No,
swamped. I have
I'm
no
not, that's
time.
not why I'm bringing it up.
I literally
don't
tried
care
at
about the
work.
help. I don't care about the help. I'm just laughing about like some of the stupid shit that I've like ripped.
Yeah,
And like it's like I don't know. When I think about being like a YouTuber, I used to get really mad when I would see people steal each other's content. You know, like, oh, you completely ripped this guy's. You're stealing views, right?
yeah,
But because of TikTok has become this video karaoke where somebody comes up with a format and then millions of people use that format to create a video.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they'll do. I'm trying to like specific dances go super viral because one person did it to a song,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden everybody's doing that shimmy shake
right.
thing with each other. I mean, there's millions of the same people doing the same videos. So now I don't feel like now I think I've changed my perspective on ripping content for like I ripped a video of a girl shooting herself with a cork.
Right.
And
Well,
someone had edited it so that the girl's head explodes. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, your head when you listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or
They're fun clips.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that. Actually, someone at work we were talking about the podcast. I'm like, literally, we already got quite a bit of views. Like, I'm like, this is kind of like doing something.
Yeah.
Like already, like within a day. It's crazy. And he's like, well, are you going to copyright your stuff? And I go, on a podcast? Like, how do you do it? I don't know nothing about that. I don't know.
It's on an RSS feed. It doesn't need anything. And
Buzzsprout
will, if Buzzsprout need, I don't even know if I should say Buzzsprout or not, but Buzzsprout.
No, I get it.
Buzzsprout.
Yeah. So you're the one doing all that stuff. I don't know nothing about that stuff.
That's part of what we're paying for.
Yeah.
Is protecting our feed, right? So
okay.
If someone rips an entire episode and re-uploads it.
Yeah.
I mean,
whatever.
I don't know why they would. We're not getting any fucking views.
Right.
You know, nothing
crazy.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to get a bunch of views,
there's
a formula
in this day and age, though.
Talking about.
In this day and age, we've all accepted that, like, posting other people's content directly is just a free form of advertisement anyway. It's
in a way, like if you don't remove the person's name and stuff. Right. Like I mean,
no one's going to take two guys talking about random shit and be like, oh, this is mine. It's like, people are going to know. Like,
right. And it's cult to
even
personality.
If it's a fake,
this is cult to personality anyway.
Right.
So if someone rips our content, in a way, it's going to lead them back to like, who are those guys?
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Well,
there was one, the videos that I've used have all been on like these high traffic, like spammy pages, like,
which is even
ultimate clips or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not this guy's page. It's
right.
Like
right.
So it's already ripped clips. So like, I don't feel as bad ripping that clip, but
yeah.
There was one that I used,
funny.
but I left in his username and everything, like in the video.
Yeah, that's good.
Because like he was like a mountain biker,
right?
And he had this super viral clip of him like coming up on a cliff, and he like just locked up and just barely stopped before he fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
So I was like, that feeling you get when you almost didn't find this podcast.
I was gonna make a little meme, but like this is the weird thing is I can't take a photo without looking super serious. Like you have a like a I don't know, like
joy. I feel human joy.
You feel human joy, and you can see it in your eyes.
Yeah,
and you can see it in your eyes when you like post a little clip of yourself or whatever. They're actually really funny. Me, like I took a photo of myself, and the meme just said like, which was like, I don't know, it's super cringy, but it said I'd rather be doing a podcast right now, talking with my brother for hours. And then at the bottom it said, that's how much I don't want to work anymore. Which is funny, but at the same time, then my face is just like serious, like artist Chris face. And I'm like, I can't do it though. I can't. I'm so locked into like, which is weird because I don't take myself seriously, but I take my like, I don't know, whenever there's like photography or music involved, it is like serious time for me because it's like it takes a lot of focus. But so like it's hard talking. I can branch out into comedy and being silly and whatever. But like when it comes to anything creative is very dark and mysterious whenever I do something. So it's hard to differentiate those two. And anyway, but yeah. So as far as making clips and stuff, I'm not going to be. I don't know. I'm going to have to practice. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm a funny guy and I'm a silly dude. But like like I said, when it comes to any kind of thing creative, or I'm actually creating something, it always turns out dark and serious. And I'm like, that's just who I am.
See, I think
I can't not do. But maybe that would be funny. I don't know. Maybe that would be
for me
funny.
when I'm making. I just want to see if this fan is getting picked up because that might be annoying as fuck. But it's too hot.
Yeah, that feels great, actually. I don't even care. I don't care. We can EQ it out if we have to. It's like one note.
Yeah, I'll just use
It'll be fine.
The AI to, on my editing software to
it'll get rid of the background
noise.
music, or noise.
So
music.
What I was gonna say is like for me, if I try to write a sketch, I feel so corny and cringy doing it, and I'm like, if I try to record that sketch while I'm doing it, I'm in my head about like, trying to be perfect or whatever. And, I can't do it. But if I go through like the funny things that have happened, like, I don't know if you saw the one that I posted today. It was like It was one of those like collectible plates that had a painting on it. Did you see that one? I was at a farmer's market and there was a plate, and on the plate there's an old man behind a young boy with an accordion. And so like I zoomed in on it and I was like, oh, you have to squeeze ever so gently.
Oh my God.
Like, and like I'm zoomed in on the painting.
Honestly, no, I did not see that one.
was
Did you post that today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
I literally woke up and came here to do this. I work midnight, so it's tough.
But so like when you find something, when I find something that's funny naturally, that's when the videos I think that I make are good. Yeah. You know? Oh, we were listening to the first and second podcast, the vaping, like right by the mic. Like Paige was like, why is he sighing? Is he mad at you? And I was like, no, he's hitting his vape. Like I can tell the way that, you know what I mean?
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. So like if you just kind of get off mic when you do that. Because like there was a few times where it was like, you can hear you hit it.
It sounds like a long...
And then you're like...
Oh, yeah.
And Paige is like, well, is he mad?
I didn't know you could hear it.
There's only a couple times, a couple
dude,
spots. But I didn't notice it either, but Paige pointed it out to me. So I was like, oh, I forgot.
No, that's good. Yeah, let me know.
I didn't mean to tell you this on air, but whatever.
No, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
That just reminded me.
No, that's good.
Just gotta do it off the mic.
Hey, we're learning, man. We're learning. I don't know how to do everything. I don't know how to... I don't know what it's going to pick up and what it's not. Like, I didn't really hear much of the chair squeaks that bad.
No, you can't hear the chair squeaks at all. It was actually like, I was laughing about it, as I'm like clipping out the podcast or editing it. I was like laughing about how many times I said, dude, your chair. I know. And it's like, you can't even hear it on the episode. So I was like, dude, Matt, shut up.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all right. It's all right.
But
it's okay.
Yeah. But it's like literally we're recording episode 3.
Yeah. We don't know what we're doing yet.
You know,
but it's fun. Dude, I'm having such a good time doing this, and honestly, I'm looking forward to doing this. And it's nice to sit down and have a conversation with you. It's just in general, me and you love to talk. We love to talk about everything, and to be able to share that with people and share that experience, you know. And a lot of people don't have that relationship with their family or their siblings. You know, you and I have had ups and downs, obviously, but anybody's going to. You know, I've definitely gone through my personal stuff and whatever, but we've always somehow managed to get through it. And it's really cool to do this and just be open and be, you know, show people that we are really good friends, you know, even though we've been through stuff and we've had our differences in a lot of different ways. But this feels good to me. Feels healthy. It feels right. It feels like this is going to sound super corny and cliche, but man, there is something recently where, you know, how discontent, like, or how much discontent I normally feel in life, just with everything. I'm always like, oh, I don't like the work I do. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is the first time in my life that my job, my relationship with you, it's come around, obviously, because we had some turmoil and stuff, but like, which was mostly me, but I was going through a lot of mental just strain and stress.
Don't worry about blame.
Yeah. No, well,
it's just the fact that we got through it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to be fully vulnerable in this moment without giving too many details. But, you know, it feels like I'm on the right path. The music I'm creating is awesome. I listened to the first 2 episodes and I was like really nervous. I was like, oh man, I don't know if this is going to be good, bad. We might be saying stuff that people are going to be like, what the hell?
Even after recording the first episode, I was right away, you were like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we should scrap this. I don't know. But then I listened back to it. You know, you had the audio, the Spotify dropped. I listened and I was like, oh my God, like we're not bad. It's not hard to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's not hard to listen to it, and I really enjoyed it. And I listened to it a lot the last couple of days. And then the videos dropped, and then you like re-edited one of the videos because the audio got kind of funky, but that happens.
Yeah. The lighting sucked. I didn't have a title track and a closing track. Yeah. So like there was some shit that I messed up.
And even though like, you know, we're still working out the conversation on camera because you get excited when a camera's rolling a little bit and you got a mic in your face. So we were like a little bit talking over each other and stuff, which it's all a learning process and whatever. But
it's like how do you keep up I kind of did it just then, but like how do you keep the energy up?
But that was great.
How do you keep the energy
paused,
up?
You know what I mean? Like the flow is what people like in podcasts. It has nothing. Honestly, most of the time, it doesn't even have to do with the content because I've listened to shit that I don't give a crap about. But the conversation was so well done.
Well, I mean, I want to have. Hopefully, we put out good conversations.
Well, yes, but I'm making a point that.
But yeah, if the content is really good.
And the flow is
good. But there's a. Have you ever listened to a podcast where the guest was like on Zoom? It's so disconnected.
Actually, most of the podcasts I watch because I watch a lot of science and
I hate it.
Physics and
there's such a disconnect.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's like and reporting live from fucking bumfuck Egypt. Here's Chris, and then it'll be like,
it's always an
thank you. Okay,
angle.
hello. And it's like, what the, like,
there's always a book. There's always a bookshelf behind them, and I'm trying to figure out what books they read.
Yeah, what do they read?
What are they reading? What's that? What's that piece of artwork behind them?
You're reading Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Or when they're like
The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Or when they're like, or when they stage the bookshelf, it's even funnier because I watch, like I said, if I'm watching a theoretical physics whatever, and they like zoom some guy in, and then
it's
behind
like Algebra 1.
Well, there's one thing. I'm not going to say who, but there's definitely one guy who has a podcast, and like they'll zoom him in on other podcasts a lot. And he'll behind him have like a big flyer of like whatever book he put out. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of
It'd be hard not to do that. I mean, like I've thought
it would be hard not to do that. I know putting up a flyer of our podcast, but I think for a podcast, it's different.
Yeah.
Because you're not like people are already watching it, but it's cool to go, hey, this is our brand. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I thought about, like the boxed in microphones that have the logo on it, or
oh wow,
or having a logo like right by our head. So if we dedicated camera, like the logo's in because if we clip it out, then it's like
those are all good ideas.
Then I don't have to put in, hey, this is Good Times Noodle Salad.
Right.
This is just it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think those are all really cool ideas. Yeah. I think they'll look cool.
I just remember
even if it's corny, like this is a free form kind of fun thing anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sitting down. It's not like we're talking with any sort of pretension. I don't know if pretension's the actual, but there's no pretentiousness.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, we're gonna definitely talk about things that we don't know enough about, but we're gonna talk about them with what we do know, and sometimes that will come off a certain type of way, I'm sure, but who cares? I don't care. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm interested in a lot. We're both dabblers. We're both super interested in a ton of shit.
That was one of the...
Even if we don't know a lot about it, who cares? We want to talk about it.
That was one of the angles that I thought about. Like, I hate to use the word branding because it comes off so corny and so like Gen Z. But I thought about like the branding to be something along the lines of that, like base the podcast around the fact that we're dabblers. Like, it's like, how many different hobbies have we gotten into, spent money on, just to like experience stuff that like, dude, I don't know, mountain biking is fucking cool. Let's try it. Music.
Yeah.
Podcasting, YouTubing, disc golf.
Dude, I was making
disc golf's like the only thing that we've done for more than like
me and some friends. I don't know if you remember. There's so many things. Like I remember even there's like the little things that I spent money on that were like short stints that I was just like, this is way too hard. Like me and Scotty, we were trying to make a cartoon and it was just so hard. We're like, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
it was funny, but
you and I were doing that too, and it's like impossible.
It's so.
I remember
that might be the hardest creative thing I've ever seen.
At Grandma's house, I downloaded an animating software on her computer. 20 years ago,
right?
And I made this stick figure kung fu fight. Yeah, and it took me 3 days of sitting on the computer like the entire day. Yeah. And I played it for her and she's like, you made that on the computer? And I was like, yeah, but like, and then you and I tried to do a cartoon. Like we tried to develop a cartoon, but it's probably the same time that you and Scotty were working on it. Yeah.
Well, I think
we were doing like, remember we were doing like audio tests. So we were like yelling into a bucket with the mic, like trying to get some cool sounds.
It actually worked really well.
Yeah.
We had some cool Foley ideas.
Dude, that was the day where you're like, we were ordering food. And you were like, I can't fucking read any of this. And none of this is in fucking English. I got to call an order. I can't fucking order this. Look at this. Vegetable curry. And dude, we both, we were laughing so fucking hard because you picked the only one.
That was in English.
That was in English.
Yeah, super funny. Oh my God.
Vegetable curry. That was a fucking... Yeah. That was like a callback joke that we had for fucking... I mean, God, that had to have been more than 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know, yeah.
Well, you lived in the house in Warren with your ex, so that was... around 10 years ago.
Right.
I turned that away from me thinking it would move air around the room enough.
Yeah. It's nicer when it's
No,
on
it's gotta
you.
be right on you.
Dude, yeah, there was so many funny things. Actually, when we were recording that cartoon, there was like a scene where one of the characters, like, and it's like super high pitched voice, was like, you know, something blah blah blah, and then like it says like, I don't remember exactly verbatim, but it was like something like, but she's got some giant tits, and it was funny because I was working on the cartoon, and then like one of our buddies, the drummer from one of my old bands, was coming by. I don't remember for what, maybe like just to get together, maybe for a bonfire, I'm not sure, but like he had just started dating this girl, and she had big boobs. And they walked in the door, and I'm blasting this because I'm trying to get the audio right? So in order to get the audio right, you got to blast it on nice speakers and just make sure it sounds good. It's not clipping.
Yeah.
So I'm blasting it, and I kid you not, they walk in the door. My ex is like, "Hi, how's it going?" And it's like, "But she's got giant tits." And so they walk around the corner. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just working on some audio for a cartoon." And yeah, it was super funny.
Yeah.
God, there's so many like little funny moments that happen. And I think that year I did like a lot of silly stuff. This is kind of like this is before memes were like a standard, because now it's just like, it would have been even funnier. But I think that year I was in a really silly mood that like entire year, probably because I was working on the cartoon. We're doing a lot of silly stuff, a lot of creative stuff going on. But I like put out like a Christmas card, like an online Christmas card, and I sent it to everybody. And it was just like me making this really stupid face with this super tight sweater on. And it was like Merry Christmas, and it was like, I don't know, it just said Merry Christmas, and dude, everybody was like, "What is wrong with you?" Like I was just like totally like making this
skin tight sweater that did not look good.
Yeah, yeah, it was silly. It was silly. Whatever it was super silly. But
yeah,
I had a good time. That was like, I have like these moments and memories of really silly things that we were working on or doing, or just moments that are super fun, and yeah, I don't know. It's good to reflect on those things, because honestly, the last few years, I feel like my life has been uber serious, and I'm just so like, I need to step away from that. I don't want my whole life.
That's been a theme of us talking about doing this. Is
Yes.
like, dude, we like not having this creative, like not like we've been artists in some sense our entire lives.
Yeah.
And then whatever, we hit this rhythm of just like adulting.
Yes.
Where it's just like work, bills, sleep, and then like obligations, like family holidays or whatever. And it's like, what am I doing? Like, this is this is everything I'm living for, is just to show up to work, go to school, you know, do all the things that I have to do. And then it's like, get the kids, feed the kids.
Yeah.
Put the kids, have the kid, you know, bathe the kids, get the kids to bed. And then that's my whole life. And then we're like so burnt out by the end of it. By the end of the day, it's like, we're going to like, there's been for like a long time now, me and Paige have been going to bed at like 8:30.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, fucking what?
It's weird because I don't have children, but like I have this same weird, my life, it's random for sure. But like, I feel like I've always had that kind of schedule out my time management kind of thing, where it's like, if I'm not doing something, I get like super bummed out and anxious, and I'm like, I need to be creating something.
Yeah.
Which is why I started getting back into music, and thank God I have, because it's been super awesome. It feels good.
Yeah.
I like what I'm doing. Other people are kind of enjoying it, so it's fun. But I've always had this kind of scheduled thing about me, like as if I had a family, which is weird. I've always kind of been that way. I'm also random, and I kind of just live by the, I don't know. I kind of just do whatever, whenever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I am very regimented in my own way. Like I'll lose sleep just to fit in what I have to get done today.
Yeah.
So, which I feel like most people aren't really doing.
I have the same tick.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about us, but I have the same thing. Like when we were redoing this studio.
You just did it. Like you were like, it's getting done today. And I go, that doesn't have to be done today.
And it was.
And it was.
And it was.
And then he's like, and then you're like, all right, let's look into like what we need. And then I was like, cool. Thank goodness for Amazon, because you can just get stuff in like a day or two.
Yeah.
And then boom, here we are.
Yeah.
Doing it, making it happen.
But I have the same itch where it's like, if I have something that's on my top of my list priority, that's what's getting done.
Absolutely.
And we were gonna have a Halloween party. So like my girlfriend was kind of stressing out about getting the house together. Like her and I both have the same thing that mom had, which like there's going to be company. The house looks like it needs to be like a museum.
Right.
And I was putting it off because I'm like, I'm doing this. Like I have these things that I have to get done.
Yeah.
The party can get done the day before, you know? And so like she was getting stressed out about it, but I'm like, I like, you don't understand that this is an itch that like, it makes like, I feel like I'm on fire unless I'm working towards this thing that I know that I can get done in a day.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it took me, I started when you left.
Yeah.
So I worked until probably 10 o'clock at night and it was pretty close. And then I woke up in the morning and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like what I did. Cause I had us tucked into that corner. So like one of us would have been there and one of us would have been there. And then so we would have been right. Like, could you imagine if we were
just shoved in the corner?
Shoved in the,
yeah.
Shoved in the corner. So I redid it and I expanded this.
Yeah.
And I think it turned out, I'm happy with the way it turned out. I'm glad that I did what I'm glad that I redid what I did because
I think it's just enough space to do what we need to do in here. And I think it's great, you know. And
then it also gave me an office to do my editing and stuff on, you know.
And it's more comfortable too. I feel like if the space was too wide open, you know, it wouldn't feel, I don't know, it kind of changes the dynamic. It's kind of like when you're recording, same thing like when you're recording music, when you're in like a giant room playing with a band or something, or practicing or recording, or even writing your own stuff. Like there's nothing that beats like the comfortability of your own, even your own bedroom, like, or your own studio, like a little room just with a keyboard and some software. And it's intimate. You feel enclosed, you feel safe, and you feel like you're not worried about, safe is a weird word, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You feel a little bit more like you're kind of in this cubby, this cubby is dedicated to this craft. And that's a cool feeling. I don't know. It hones me in personally.
One of the things that I was concerned about with using this space is because it is small. That I was like, man, the energy level is going to be down. Like I'm worried that the energy level is going to be down because we're in a small spot where it's like if you and I were just sitting in here, like playing a game or something, like we wouldn't like the energy level wouldn't get up,
right?
Because it's such a small area.
Yeah.
But that really hasn't been an issue. I think the way. Like what the room is creating for us, like environment wise, has been good.
Yeah.
And like when we were talking about renting that office, which you know maybe we'll do that eventually, but renting a office, I'm glad that we didn't do it because all of those rooms were huge. And like how weird would it be to be in like 1,000 square foot room?
Yeah.
And we need 200 square feet for what we're doing here.
I think.
You know,
I would say this, if this and some other ventures take off and like you're doing your own thing and we're doing this and I'm doing my own thing and we can utilize the space, it'll be worth doing. But like right now, this is fun. This is cool. It's chill. We're just talking.
Cost us nothing.
Barely. I mean,
not
not a ton, you know? Yeah. And,
I mean, just getting like the equipment, like buying, like I bought the Zoom a long time ago that, you know, and getting the mics, and we had the laptop, and we had this and that, and we had the GoPro. So it's like it's cost us not much at all,
right?
Except for space,
which is cool. And it's cool to talk about that because it's like, hey, if you guys want to talk about stuff, like you can do it. It's not that doesn't cost that much money, man. It's not that hard. Yeah. It's just talk. You got to find people.
It's just effort. That's all it is.
If there's people in your life that you can have conversations about anything with, do it. Do it on a podcast. And, you know, I mean, even if you're not making a ton of money off it, and if it's something that's, you know, relatively, I don't know what the word is, comprehensive, and it's not, even if it's crazy and silly and out of control and you and your friend are just wild and speaking riddles or whatever, you know, like, which I've got a lot of friends where we just joke 24/7. That would still be cool to watch, man. I watch a lot of stuff that's, you know, I love seeing shorts of just people acting crazy sometimes. And so, you know, and you don't have to do it. A lot of people are kind of anti putting themselves out there, but like you're out there anyway.
Let them be private.
Yeah.
Let them be private. I'm not the kind of person that is super private. I enjoy one thing I've talked about with you a lot is like, I don't know what a normal amount of truth is for, you know, more than one reason, but so I don't know what a normal amount of truth is. So like, it's the, like people know me as the guy that's like, oh, he'll tell you everything. He'll tell you everything that's going on in his personal life. He'll tell you everything that's but you know, I was listening to a podcast with, I don't know, some psychologist on there, and he was making the point like, dude, when you start telling the truth, like you can't believe what will happen. Like when you tell the truth about who you are and what you're going through, you don't believe what people say, and like you'll realize that so many people are going through the exact same thing as you, and they're also putting on a front of like, you know, and not that I put on a front, but that was kind of a vindicating.
If you're around the right people.
Yeah, well, but you also weed out the wrong people by being open and honest.
I agree with this.
You know, so
yeah,
I mean, like God, when I was younger, I was getting into the habit of like speaking in like lying. Like I was gonna say like speaking in hyperbole, which is a way of softening up the truth, but lying, telling these exaggerate stories where I'm a victim or I'm a hero or I'm both, and like I you know, for the sake of having good stories.
I definitely have done it for sure.
And once I realized, like somebody had said like, "Yo, you're acting just like this person," and I'm like, "Fuck, all right, I gotta like," and it hurt my feelings because I was like, "No, the fuck, I'm not."
Right,
you know?
right.
And then like when I thought about it, I'm like, "Dude, I'm just like that."
Yeah.
And so like when I started working on that, I'm like making sure that I'm accurate.
You know what's annoying about that though is that, like I've dealt with this between friends where it's like I go through this like real arrogant stage of whatever I'm dabbling in.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the phone actually the other day, but
yeah,
I go through the stage of being like super arrogant, even though I don't know enough about it to be even talking about it probably.
Yeah.
And
that's when I told you it's like similar to being like a fifth period apprentice. Where you're like starting to be competent. So like you have this.
Yeah. So you're just constantly talking about it and people are like, dude, we don't give a shit what you're doing. We don't care. We don't just come over and hang out, come have a couple beers with us.
Yeah.
Right? But it gets annoying and then people get annoyed by it. And but what's annoying to me though is that people just go like, hey, look, man, just say it. But like just be like, hey man, like knowing like you're just getting into this, I get it, but like people are but people would rather be like, yeah, dude, Chris is acting fucking weird. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, instead of just talking to each other about,
quit being a little bitch. Quit being a little bitch, because that's what you're doing. You're going, oh, Chris is like all up his own ass because he's doing this. It's like, because that's all I do. I work 70 hours a week and then I maybe make music or do a podcast. Find an
interest and you're like,
you know, which is the
I'm obsessed with physics right now. And,
yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, that's so off-putting. It's like, is it? Like it's interesting, but there's times where I'll tell you like, dude, I can't, or I don't care, or like,
exactly.
All right, can we talk about something else?
Yeah.
And normally it's not like, normally it's not because I don't find what someone else is interested in interesting. It's like we talked about, like, dude, like between you and I, when I start to be like, fuck. It's because you get like hyper focused, you get obsessed, and then it's the only thing you want to talk about. And which I do the exact same thing.
If I fall on any kind of autistic spectrum, which I don't know that I do,
hyperfixation, for sure.
I actually have a track on my first album called Fixation because I literally spent 3 days straight. I didn't sleep on that song.
Yeah,
and because I was like, oh, I don't know if I like it, but I like it. I don't know. And then my buddy listened to it, who doesn't even listen to anything that I would. He doesn't listen to anything, and even in the ballpark or whatever. He's like, dude, this is the coolest track I've ever heard. And I was like, all right.
I liked it.
And I think I don't know. So not to keep talking about music. I don't want to get, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole every time, but it's just relatable because right now that's what your
fixation is.
Yes,
is
exactly. And it's probably going to be for a while. So I apologize in advance. It's going to be,
whatever.
I'm going to be dropping some
You're
stuff.
allowed to be fixated on stuff. I mean, it's
right.
You know, like I have the same click or whatever, the same tick. I mean, is that when I like something, I fixate on it for a while until I understand it thoroughly. Like, I mean, you know that about me with bands. If like I found I don't know, Tool when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it was like I listened to everything Tool put out.
Right.
And then that led me into like a Perfect Circle, and I listened to everything Perfect Circle, and that's like all I listened to for like an entire year.
Yeah.
And then I tried to listen to Pussifer, and it's just not my jam. But like it's all Maynard James Keenan bands that I obsessed over. And then I was like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm done, and hung it up, and then moved on to whatever, which was like the next thing I think was like the Rhymesayers artists.
Yes.
I was like Idea and Abilities, Aesop Rock, Blueprint.
Yeah.
Brother Ali, Say Rock, whatever, like all these different artists.
It's weird because I feel like we go through these stages of learning and dabbling. We go through this almost like as if we were like if we were going to school for them. It's like, this is what I'm taking classes on now.
I've joked about it. I'm like an alien who like studies these subcultures.
Yes.
It's like I'm studying a subculture, and then I'm like, all right, I think I understand that next.
Yeah.
And
it is kind of what it's like for me.
But I also like, you know, like Paige was like, I feel like that's all you're talking about is the podcast. Like, I feel like we can't talk about anything but the podcast. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. It's just that my mind's in work mode because
Right.
we're like figuring out how to do everything. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm posting these shorts as a way to get attention, you
Yeah.
know, to the podcast. I'm trying to figure out how to edit the video and post the video. How do I
Yeah.
clip up? You know what I mean? And I'm figuring out equipment. I'm figuring out what I need to buy. What does Chris need to buy? What kind of schedule?
This is what, okay. So
there's
this
a
is the
lot of
same thing.
angles
When I
that we have to
started
figure
this
out.
job, remember, so when I started this job and I was working a ton, and then, like I was missing stuff. And obviously then the following year I was on very low hours, or the beginning of this year I was on very low hours. The job was really not going well. Whatever, everything's going better now. But, and I was missing stuff and whatever. And I'm like, but I'm pretty sure you and I had a conversation where I was like, dude, like, this job is going to require so much of my attention. Because we would talk on the phone and I'm like, I just kind of need everyone to leave me alone for like, not like 8 months.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean by that? And I go, well, no, like, I don't care what's going on in the family that much. I don't really care what's happening here. I don't really care that there's, I hate to say this because this sounds super, and I'm sure no one's going to feel this, but I don't care if there's a birthday party going on. Like, my days at work were like, I was putting in like 13, 14 hour days before the drop in hours and all that and workload. I was working crazy hours, which was awesome money, but like those weren't just hours of just doing my job. That was me relearning the entire trade. That was me learning how to use certain software. It's so hard. It's so much work. My time off was sleeping, if I could sleep, because I'd be so anxious. And then I'd be calling guys that were training me like, dude, I don't understand how to do this. And so even I'd work 14 hours and then be on the phone with these guys, which they're all about the job and working. And so they're kind of like obsessed with working. So they don't care. They'll be like, yeah, dude, so you got to do this and try this. And, you know, we'll work on it tomorrow, man. You know, we'll talk for 2 hours. So I'm working 14 hours a day, 2 hours talking with my trainer, right? Afterwards, like, hey, I don't know about this. I don't know if this is going to work, whatever, you know, because I want to be successful. I want to do a good job at anything I do, right? I want it to be good. Good enough that like I'm not the, you know, laughing stock of the company or just, you know, have a target on my back for the next guy to let go, right? And that's also how you move up. That's also how you make good money, which I'm doing well and I'm happy. But when I said like, I need to just be left alone, it had nothing to do with like, it's like my focus right now is just like getting my ducks in a row. You know, I've had some bad experience with work, companies I've worked for, and just bad experiences all around, bad relationships, bad companies, bad places I've lived, expensive places I've lived. Like, it's been nonstop. It's like, it's been a struggle. And I'm just trying to like, all right, I just need to like, everyone just like, stop talking to me about what I need to do. And let me just hone it in and focus.
Well, that's definitely a plague in our family, is everyone's got the right answer, even though if they looked at their own situations objectively, it'd be like, dude, you're, you know, like you're not, I don't, maybe you're not in a place where you should be giving advice, you know, and I don't think that's unique. I don't think that's unique to our family. I think everybody's family is like that. Like, so-and-so, you know, they're going to tell you, and whatever.
I'm guilty of it too. I'm always the guy with like, the bright ideas, but I mean, and not saying I know everything, and a lot of things I've tried and dabbled with didn't work out.
But you took,
but I take the risks.
You got to take.
I take a lot of risks.
You have to consider the perspective that you took a risk to. First of all, you took a risk by moving out of state to take a job because you thought it was going to lead to something bigger, and maybe it would have, but you were so miserable down there that it didn't make sense for you to stay.
Yes. Well,
and then,
for a multitude of reasons, we dabbled. We touched on that before.
Yeah. Well, like you're somebody that, especially during that time, you were getting your value and your contentment was based on how you felt about the job you were doing, and you were being told to throttle it down and just serve your time by the guys that worked there. And you were like, fuck that, dude. That's not who I am. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to use an inefficient process because it behooves me for gaining more hours on my check. Like, fuck that. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And so like that was I know that was bothering you, but then also I think the main thing, and we touched on this before, is that you were alone down there.
Yes. That was the most alone I've ever felt in my life. And it was scary because I was just like, what the hell? Like you meet like musician friends. I was playing in bands. I was jamming with guys. I mean, not like bands that were performing, but just practicing, right? Because I was only down there 9 months or something.
Yeah.
But there's like, there's no connection. Like, it's almost like going to, like, could you imagine as a individual without a girlfriend, like, right? Just you yourself moving somewhere. I mean, just in general, I mean, just the idea of moving somewhere that you know nobody, and you have to now, if you make friends, you have to learn how to trust them. So you're awkward. Every interaction you have, you're like, I don't know what I can say around you.
That was one of the things.
Or do around you or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, and then, you know, like, I don't know what this person is. This guy could be a creepy whatever, right?
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, well, it makes you paranoid. That's what we talked about too, is around that time I was reading this I was reading this book by Johann Hari, the Lost Connections book.
Oh God, that was so good.
And he was
I listened to that whole thing.
And in the book he talks about how being lonely is like as damaging to you as a pack of cigarettes a day, and like how it makes you paranoid and suspicious, and you feel like you're on the outs because you are on the outs of the tribe. You don't have a tribe. Yes. So like you become paranoid and suspicious and every, I mean, it's like the stereotype, you know, from the Led Zeppelin song, you know, it's like everyone's a stranger, or is that the Doors? Yeah, the Doors. Like everyone's a stranger.
People are strange when you're a stranger.
Right. Well, yeah, but like that's a perfect metaphor for how weird it feels to be a stranger to people.
That is literally perfect.
And when you have nobody, when you have nobody down there with you, and like what your only connections to people are phone calls, like that's not real connection.
Dude, I zoomed in on Christmas. I was on.
You did?
I wasn't at Christmas that year.
I don't remember we video called you?
Yeah, someone video called me. And it was so awkward. I was like, I would have almost rather not have. Because it was like everybody was kind of like burnt out. It was like after everyone opened gifts, everyone's like, quoting, like, everyone's like, hey, you're not here.
Dude, getting through all the shit for the kids on the holidays is like so mentally draining. Yeah. Having like, the holidays suck for having kids. Like I love being a dad, but man, having kids on the holidays it's like burdensome. Like, but
it's a lot of work
because you're trying to like.
That's what it's for, man.
You're maintaining.
That's what it's about.
You're maintaining a sandcastle.
I'll be honest
when you're
with
trying
you,
to keep the kids.
As someone without kids, the older I get, the less I care about any of that shit. I don't care about. I love the holidays. I love holiday music. I love Christmas lights. I hate snow, but I like snow on trees. You know what I mean? Like I've developed this like picturesque like example of what Christmas is in my head. Like throw on some Nat King Cole. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's nothing better. There's no better feeling in the world. You know what I mean? Some hot cocoa or
but you're saying you don't care about it?
But I don't like, it's like, I think it's not that I don't care about it. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It's not like, yes, it's nice that like people get together, but like, it's really about the kids, man. Opening up gifts, like the spirit, right? The spirit is about like making children happy, right? Like making kids happy. They open up gifts and whatever. It's like, we're all adults, like just working our asses off just to get through the year. Yeah. Like, it's cool that we're getting together and having a good meal. It's cool that we decorated. It's fun. It's aesthetic, right? It's pleasing. It's calming. It's warm, but it's about the kids. It has nothing to do with, like, personally, like if I go to like a Christmas party, sometimes it is just a burden just to be there. And I'm not saying like it's not about getting with people. It's not that. It's just that it means I know, like I go just to see your kids open up gifts. Yeah. Right. I don't care about, we can get me and whoever can get together anytime. And honestly, personally, I prefer to get together with people like little groups at a time. I don't want to get together with 20 people. Yeah. I hate it.
I understand that.
Actually, there's a podcast I watched or just maybe a clip that was a conversation where somebody talks about you sacrifice the specialness of the individual for the group when you're in large groups.
Well, yeah, of course.
And so it's so like uninteresting to get together with the entire family. Yeah, I love it. I want to see everybody. I don't see people that often, period. And I have a busy life and busy schedule without kids. I don't even know how I could manage having kids now. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to have I would literally have to have a stay-at-home wife. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way between my creative stuff and then also working and then I'm also moving up in this company. I'm going to be done. I mean, this is it. Podcast, writing a couple piano tracks or making an album when I get the time to. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so if I had kids, it'd be like, all right, cool. You know,
Well, you just
daddy's
start
got.
you start sacrificing
Right.
what you want to do.
That's
I mean,
true.
that's
That's
what's
really what
happened
it
to
would be.
me. That's what happened to
Now
with
your
me.
kids are getting older and like, you know,
Now I
there's
can
a little
relax
bit
a
more
little
free
bit,
time. Yeah.
you know?
And they can kind of manage themselves to some degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I met someone and had some children now, for sure, like some things would have to take obviously I'm the person.
Things are going to take the back.
I always prioritize what
seat.
needs to be priority.
Yeah.
You know, so, but, yeah, I mean, I love the holidays. Specifically Christmas. It's one of my favorite. I love the music. I love the vibe. I love the lights. I love everybody's a little bit happy around that time too. Everybody's just like, even though they're blowing their money on just everyone's broke, but they're happy. It's just like, there's something cool about that.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
I mean, so as a parent, the holidays do feel like a burden a lot of the time because you're like leading up to Christmas, there's like these ebb and flow of energy around the holiday where it's like,
yeah,
the kids, you know, like one might come up to me like, I got an idea for the other, you know, I got an idea for Elias. He's got
that's really,
you know,
adorable.
so like that's like an
Yeah.
energizing, and
Yeah.
then like the kids getting excited about like the colors and the this and the
Yeah.
that, and like it's only 19 more days, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that
Yeah.
stuff is energizing, but the energy does ebb and flow. Like there's like days where I'm like, fuck, dude, like we got you know, we got these bills this week.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we can go buy a couple of like
Yeah.
stocking stuffers this week.
I know,
You know what I
that's-
mean? And so like, it's a source of stress, but it's also like, it balances out with how valuable it is to the kids and seeing them go through that
Right.
joy, you know, it's worth it. But man, I understand why, like it's been going around for the last few years. It's like, oh, like this, like holiday season is exciting, but it's also like suicide season. So it's like,
What do you mean?
like people have been like, you haven't heard these, like, you know, check on people, you know, it's supposed to be the happiest time of the year, but it's like a lot of people go through stress.
Yeah, a lot of there's a handful of people that I know personally that absolutely hate the holidays.
Yeah.
Like it just, and a lot of those people have no families
Yeah.
left and stuff. And I probably even shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah,
this,
well,
they see
but
this,
but that's so
but
that's
they're
stuff.
loved. I mean, the thing is they're loved by the people around them. They have friends and like,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, shit, with all the ups and downs I've had with friends and family and this and that, it's like, dude, just be happy. Like people are gonna love you if you're not a total piece of crap. Like people love you, and even
Yeah.
if you are a piece of crap, there's a lot of people I know that suck in a lot of ways, but they're awesome to be around sometimes.
yeah,
Like we're all just individuals. We have to love the individual, you know. But
Yeah.
it is weird that's I kind of went off on a little whatever, but it is weird that is like a. I know I kind of get depressed around the holidays, but I don't think it's like. But I love Christmas time, but I've always gotten a little depressed around the holidays. But I think that stems from the family breaking up when we were young. You know what I mean? It's not that it's not the same and that there's no feeling and there's no whatever, but it changes it.
Yeah,
Changes it.
It's
like
weird.
you grow up and you're like, oh yeah, you know, mommy, daddy, and you're like, you know, whatever. Oh. But like, I mean, you have like, there's this like whole expectation of what the experience is going to be, and then that like changes overnight. You know, and when your parents split up, that changes overnight. So keeping the magic. This is another thing, like being involved enough and keeping the magic alive. I don't think we grew up in a scenario where anyone around us but like kept the magic alive in any scenario. Everything was a very realistic experience.
I don't agree with that.
What do you mean?
I don't agree. I feel like mom put a lot of effort into the holidays and making them.
That's
like,
not what I'm saying.
Oh, well, I don't understand. What
I'm
you mean,
sorry.
then.
No. Not like decorating, getting everyone together, having a great time, trying to really just make it work and be good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying personally, you know, like I never felt like it never seemed like we were building up to this event. It never seemed like, oh, and this has nothing to do with anybody in particular. I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe it was just my personal experience, but I feel like once reality set in, I'll just be honest, once our parents split up, they got divorced, they separated, whatever.
Yeah.
They were so just involved in redeveloping their own lives that the veil was stripped away for me personally, that like the magic's gone. And I'm not saying it's not mom has made the comments of like, you hit a point and it was just like you got dark, and I was like, no, I hit a point where reality set in very young. Like this is reality.
Well, it's like
you make your own magic.
It's the child of divorce syndrome.
Right,
it's like when you see these structures that are in place that provide safety as a child be stripped away.
Right.
And it's like, all right, well now everything that I've known that has made safe, that has made me feel safe is now gone.
See, I don't think it was ever that for me. It was never about safety and security. I never felt anything about that. It was just the magic. You're like, oh shit. Like, okay, what does this mean? Okay. So reality is that not everybody's going to get along. The reality is Santa isn't real. The reality is, and honestly, that's during the time also you start questioning your own religion that you were raised up with and going to church 2 times a week. Right.
Yeah.
All of that hits at once, and you're like, all right, there is no magic.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that there's all these structures.
That's where logical brain sits in. And then for some reason we live in a society where like overly logical people are assumed to be dark people. My creative side is dark because in my opinion, reality is dark. Like the joy and happy experiences that we create are how we establish value. The reality, if you strip away all the value that you create in your world, you strip all the value away that you've created in this moment. That's the reality. It's dark, it's dingy, it's dirty. There's germs everywhere. There's a lot of shadows. There's, you know what I mean? You create the light. You create the enlightenment in your world. So like when you don't have to agree with this. This is my personal take on life. It doesn't matter, right? The point is that you create this experience of this is the happy point. This is where I'm placing my value and I'm shining the light on. And so, what I mean by that is that I learned that the magic doesn't exist. The magic is what you create. And then I was like, oh, wow. So now I got to learn how to create magic in my own life. How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. Life is exciting in a lot of negative ways for me personally. Like I get happy about stuff. Like I get super excited about stuff. Don't get me wrong, but like it's work. It's work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of headache. It's like, I don't want to make my bed this morning. I don't want to do my laundry on my one day off. I don't want to cut the grass on my one day off. Right. That's not dark. It's just reality. It's like, I'm tired. But then when I create music, when I create something or artist or doing this, like it feels so good just to kind of like, all right, I can talk or I can express myself and create some value.
I do think
when I hug your kids, dude, I feel so much joy.
Yeah.
But like, that's not the same joy when I go and sit at home and just relax. It's different.
I do think that there's a, I don't know, maybe practicing a different perspective intentionally would be beneficial to you, because like you just listed off things that I love doing because they make me feel good when it's over. Like you're like, I don't want to cut the grass. It's like, dude, but when I cut the grass and I look at my yard and it looks nice, I feel pride and I feel good. You know what I mean?
No, of course.
So
that's of course. And I'm the same way because I used to call you and brag about my grass when I owned the house in Roseville.
You also used to call me and ask me if I'd come cut your grass because you didn't feel like doing it.
No, that was just an ongoing joke because at the time I was working 70 hours a week. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll pay you, dude.
I'll give you $20. I'm like, it'll cost me $40 to get there. I'll give you $20.
It was a joke. It was an ongoing joke. That's what we do.
$12.
It was an ongoing joke, though.
And then I'd send you a picture of my lawn and you'd be like, those lines are crooked as fuck. No, but so... But you're framing... But you went on... You went on this... You went on this journey for like a couple of minutes of basically saying that like after the divorce things went dark and now you have to create light by having hobbies, by having art, whatever. And like I agree with that to some extent, but I also disagree because I do think that there's a lot of things that give you joy and contentment and value when you put effort into them. When you look at everything like Generation X Generation X is the biggest miserable fucking generation that's ever existed. right? And I'm not saying you, I'm saying Gen X, like that, the guys that we looked up to as kids, we're like, oh, it's so cool to think everything's fucking lame. It's not, dude. Like putting effort into your lawn because you care about your lawn and you care about your house looking nice because it makes you feel good is fucking sweet. It's cool. There's a reason that like,
but we're talking about
YouTubers who like do like, they cut their grass with a reel cutter. They get millions of views because people love the way it feels to like do a good job.
I agree with what you're saying.
So like you got to look for the magic in the
but you're misinterpreting
the mundane.
I think you're misinterpreting what I was saying though.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying like I'm not misinterpreting it, but I'm saying that I think if you intentionally look for the good things in the mundane.
I mean, believe me, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here anymore.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's everybody. I'm not saying just me.
Yeah.
If you never looked at things and like found joy and happiness in them more, why would you want to be around? Right.
Like, well, okay, so
I'm not saying me personally.
I mean, but like the examples that are coming to mind are all like physical examples because that's what you gave. Was
right.
Like, oh, I cut the lawn, I do my laundry. But like, if I put same thing with going to the gym, same thing with doing like the act of actually doing something that you don't necessarily want to do, but it needs to be done. When that thing is over, when you've accomplished that goal, you've accomplished a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
and so like I get my value out of.
You're sharing this for just conversation's sake, so I appreciate what you're saying, and you're right. But I still think you're misinterpreting what I mean by that. I'm saying reality sucks in a lot of ways, and the magic is what you put into it. So whether it's creating music, whether it's cutting your grass, being obsessed with botany or whatever it might be, that's the magic. What I was just saying is that you have to relearn that. If you live your life without any of that, dude, your life is meaningless.
You had to relearn it because it was provided by your parents?
I feel like,
is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying because this all stemmed off of the loss of interest in Christmas a little bit, like that slight, like the magic kind of disappears after like your family breaks up, and so it's like we got to get together this day and then this day and this night and all that. Yeah. It changes the dynamic, and it's nothing against anybody. No one did anything wrong. It's not that. What I'm saying is that there's also layers to that because you also see your parents go through hard times and all the fun, magical stuff that you felt and this closeness and all that stuff kind of it doesn't get stripped away, but you start to see
just changes.
You just see the reality of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I'm sitting in this room, right, it's like, cool. This is a super cool set. Right. But let's say, I don't know, say something happens and there's a hole in the wall now. Right. It's like, okay, this is a super cool set with a hole in the wall. There we go. Look.
So, you were saying?
Okay. Well, so now, as the owner of a house, right, you're like, all right, well, now that is my burden. Fixation. That's my burden. I got to fix that now. Right. So my point is that is like I reached maturity very young in that way where I was like hyper fixated on all the faults and problems. Even I remember being in elementary school and my friends being like, why do you like tell us all the things we're doing wrong? And I wasn't like a douche about it, but I'd be like, why are you like, I was very like, I understood people right away, like their faults, their flaws, their problems, like things they need to work on as a child.
I don't think that's because of just the divorce. I think that's because of the personalities that we grew up around. I think trying to appease someone who's upset if you don't. But I'm saying that
magical veil of being an innocent child was removed at 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into music. That's why I got into...
Started to happen to Elias. We talked about that last podcast where I'm like, dude, we won.
Yeah.
I coached your baseball team and your baseball team, I was part of the coaching, whatever.
Yeah.
I helped coach your baseball team. Your baseball team won the regional championship and he couldn't even smile.
Right.
It started to happen to Elias. And I think a lot of it for him was that he was in this like fight, flight, or freeze mode all the time where he's like, I got to protect myself by putting a wall up and being defensive because his parents were going through so much shit that,
see, now,
they weren't like, he wasn't willing to be vulnerable.
You did a really good job in pulling him out of that. But not only that, but, as someone who has like really researched a lot of mental illness stuff,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression and other problems over the years, you did a good job at breaking down those walls, which is very important because that's where real mental illness gets begins. That's where like narcissistic disorders start, right?
Yeah.
Like where people are so, as a child, you build these walls and this is my safe zone because no one's providing it for me. And then you're like, and then this is who you become, and that's who you become forever. And anybody that tries to break through, you develop these this animosity towards them.
Yeah.
And you've done a great job at breaking down those walls. Like, no, this is reality. This is it, without being negative, right? Not like this is the dark reality. No, you're like, this is how things work. You just move forward. You move on.
Yeah.
You did such a good job, man, because going through that, man, I mean, he saw the reality of the dark side of a relationship, like the absolute worst of the worst. And that's disheartening. But you really, I mean, I'm sure it's changing for life. You can't prevent that. But you did an awesome job at just saying, dude, that's normal. I hate to say this, but that's what happened to my parents. That's what happened to, this is a dark reality. It's eventually you don't get along, and the tribes change.
He needed to understand that. What he needed to learn and understand is that me and his mom are people.
Yeah.
And we were kids when we started our relationship, and we were kids when we had him.
Yeah.
And then we tried to make it work for a long time, and because of that, we became super resentful of each other. And what he needed to understand by the end of it was that we're just people.
Yes.
And we're not, which sucks because you kind of take the veil away from like, that's my dad and that's my mom. It's like, my dad is this, there's the stereotypes of like dad's the hero and mom's the safety.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we're just people.
Yeah.
And our relationship didn't work, and you saw us try to make it work, and it was horrible for you.
Yeah.
So
that's something.
But it wasn't just like me talking to him about it. It was it was 2 years of him doing therapy every week.
Yeah.
It was us sitting down talking about it. He would ask me questions, and I'd try to have a vulnerable conversation without letting any of my feelings about his mom leak through, which is hard. It's hard. It's really hard to have a conversation about something that involves somebody and not let your feelings about that person leak through.
Oh, for sure.
If you and I get into an argument about some dumb shit, and Paige is like, what happened? And I'll just be like, fucking Chris,
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's how it's, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how people talk. It's like, he's fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And
he's talk shit. Yeah.
So like,
absolutely.
and it's so like sitting down and be like, well, objectively, this is what I'm willing to tell you. I'm not going to tell you everything that happened because it's not your business, not your relationship. And you don't need to know anything about me or your mom that is beyond what actually affects you.
Right.
So what affects him is that we decided that we are not working and we need to end the relationship.
Right. And
then, so he's had to learn to cope with that, and then also learn to cope with a new relationship and a new adult that's in his life. And my girlfriend Paige, who, is it like, I mean, I literally remember writing something and being like, dude, I couldn't have designed a better person for me.
Yeah.
She's perfect for me. Like, like we push each other to have these hard conversations and to grow. And for him,
that is one of my favorite things about your guys' relationship, is specifically that you're willing to like openly say, I don't like this. And I'm like, why? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's weird. A lot of relationships don't do that. So anyway,
I mean, we had a hard couple of days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because that, like, we were at an impasse where like we weren't making progress, and it was like, dude, like, I like you more than this issue. Like, we need to like, so then we had a conversation about like, it took, not to derail, but like it took days of kind of bickering to like figure out, oh, this is why I reacted this way. I'm realizing now what you did that triggered my reaction. Yeah. I'm reacting to my past, and this is what you're doing that's making me react to my past. Now that I understand that, maybe I wouldn't react so emotionally, but also I need you to work on communicating differently.
The biggest problem that I see, period, with it personal interaction is the lack of, and this isn't saying you guys, I'm just saying generally, but when you say it, just using the word emotion made me think of this, is emotional intelligence is really lacking in this day and age. And what that means is, like, you know how mom, like, you can just call her and just bitch and rant and rave and say the most heinous shit you've ever said in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be like, well, you need to, you know, just calm down and think of it this way. And then you talk to her about it like years later. Cause I do this all the time. I'll talk to her years later and be like, yeah, you remember that time, whatever. I was like, I just want you to know, like, I was just going through this. And she goes, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't care. That's why I didn't hold offense to you yelling at me or bitching or whatever.
Yeah. She's not shakeable.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't shake her.
We don't have that. Well, I think I'm learning it a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because God, like, I
have
a
that
lot of
once,
my life.
I have that.
Kind of disappointed.
I have that once I go through the id, once I go through the caveman emotion.
Yes.
And I can apply logic to, okay, why did I react to that?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can figure out what that emotion actually is. And that was one of the conversations Paige and I had, was like, hey man, like,
but that was going to get to this point. Like,
you got to give me the space to live through that emotion,
yes,
so that I can get to a place where I can understand.
But another thing is like, one thing that I just want to throw out as maybe my own advice as someone who's like had some interesting relationships, I guess, to say the least. Talking about it sucks. Talking about certain things is important, but part of emotional intelligence is just knowing. And instead of second guessing and then also projecting your own insecurities into your own thoughts, just knowing that person means well, that's why they're with you, is a big part of that.
Well, that's why.
So don't ask, why are you acting this way today? It's like, if you do that every day for fucking 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 10 years in my instance, right? And you're constantly having those conversations, that becomes your entire relationship. Well, now you're just constantly having to explain yourself.
Paige and I had a conversation where I think it was almost being implied that, like, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you acting this way? Yeah. Why are you doing this to me or against me? And like, we had to have a conversation where it was like, we both need to come to the understanding that our intentions with each other are never heinous. Like our intentions are never like, I'm doing this against you. Right. Like maybe I misunderstood the situation or whatever, but like, I just need you to accept that you're my person and that my intentions are good. Yeah. And then from there we can move on. Right. Like we can move past. Yeah. We can move on to discussing what the actual issue was. Because if your baseline is not like we're 100% about each other, and that doesn't even need to be discussed. Like when that baseline moves, and then all of a sudden you're having a discussion about whether or not you even want to be with each other. Right. Right. Well, now the principle that you wanted to talk about is completely lost. Yeah. You know, so like we've had to have that conversation recently where it's like, hey, I have an issue with the way that you communicated that. I understand what your intention was, but the way that you did it was in a way that it made me feel guilty. Yes. And that was unnecessary. But it was coming from a place of you testing, do you still care about us? Mm. And it's like, that needs to be baseline 0. You know I want you. And you know that you need to know that I want you. And you need to know that this relationship is absolutely it for me. This is who I'm settled in. I'm in it for the long haul. I don't like people who are always I have no time. I hate being in a relationship, and this has happened a few times in the last few years. Being in any kind of relationship where you're constantly being tested, like questioned about things, or just not even questioned, or just like they'll say something off color, and you're like, all right, I get it. Like it's like you're testing the water. Do you still like me? Do you still want to be with me?
Get out of here. No, I don't. I just want to be around you 24/7 because I love misery that much.
Yeah, and dude. Okay. To compound on that, I have been so guilty of that because Paige has like the most epic RBF on the earth.
I don't know what is RBF.
Resting bitch face.
Oh yeah.
She like, unless she's like actively cracking up, she has.
So do I.
Like she doesn't know, like her face is not expressive.
Oh yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
You know, and like
No, that's
So,
true.
like,
I
so,
definitely, when I
like-
first met her, it's taken probably the last couple years for me to get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'll come in, I'm like, oh, she hates me.
Yeah, but she doesn't.
Every time I
That's-
walk, like come to one of your
Yeah.
events, I'm like, she's like, hi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, sorry. I know you probably heard a lot about me. I suck in a lot of ways,
No,
but I'm a
that's-
good person. I
No,
promise.
and that's the thing is I think it's, if I didn't grow up around the narcissists that I grew up around, I
Yeah.
wouldn't care about her face being less expressive than a normal person's.
Yeah.
But because I spent a lot of my energy as a kid trying to make sure that the narcissists that I was around
Yeah.
were not mad at me,
Yeah.
now, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, why do you look miserable?
Yeah.
I'm not. And I'm like, well, what's going on? She's like, I'm literally cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to? And then she'll like joke with me and be like, and she'll like hold like a Stepford wife smile to fuck with me.
Yeah.
So she'll just like start like walking around like, and I'm like,
Like the
dude.
movie Smile.
Yeah. No. Well. No. Have you ever seen Stepford Wives? You know,
Yeah,
like
no,
fucking.
I know what you're saying. I was just kidding.
I was doing that smile to her the other day to freak her out, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Seriously, I'm not joking. Stop! You're freaking me the fuck out." Because like I was standing in the dining room.
I get that way too, but you know what it is? I think it's just you're on different wavelengths at that moment. Because I get that way too, even at work. Like I'll get in my own head, like I'll be like super hyper, working my ass off.
Yeah.
My shit's running, everything's going smooth, good day. And I'm like, yeah, walking around like I'm king shit, like joking with everyone. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Get energized.
Right. And then like you see then your like supervisor comes around and he's just chilling at his desk and you're like, hey, what's up, buddy? What? You know, he's in the middle of writing out a handful of emails, right? Because shit's going wrong on his end. So, and you're like, hey, what's wrong? And then I'm like, I gotta stop doing that, dude. I know what's wrong. He's working.
Yeah.
He's working. I did my work. I'm chill for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I have this weird muscle that's like, oh, I can tell by your facial features that you're a little uncomfortable. Let's talk about that. No one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Remember that, people.
Uncle Dave makes fun of me for this now.
Yeah.
But I used to be extremely conflict adverse. I would go home, like if someone said some horrible, like some mean shit to me at work, especially when I was, fucking 20.
Yeah.
And way too insecure to be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
To like a 6-year-old guy, because that 6-year-old guy's like dad, like your dad.
Yeah.
So like the guy comes over, what the fuck are you doing, kid? Pay attention to what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, get adrenaline, because like my body's like, murder him.
Yes.
And then I'm like, fuck Steve. Fucking Steve. He's not even fucking good. And then I'm like bitching and moaning under my breath for hours. And then I go home and the dog's like laying in the doorway and I'm like, fucking dog.
Yeah.
But now Uncle Dave will make fun of me. He's like, because I had a conflict with a guy at work.
Yeah.
And he's like, does he know who he was shit talking? He's like, you love it. I was like, I don't love it. He's like, you have conflicts with people constantly.
No,
like you'll call people out for their shit.
Someone has just said it to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I do, but because I don't want to take it home anymore.
Yeah, no, it's
I do. It's like I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. Hey, what the fuck's your problem?
You know what?
I told a guy at work. I told a guy at work a few weeks ago. I go like, he asked me to do something, and I did it in a different way than he wanted.
Yeah.
And he's like, why'd you do that when I told you to do this? I said, because I'm a grown fucking man and I make decisions. And I walked away laughing.
Hilarious.
I walked away laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And he circled back.
Yeah.
We circled back and he was like, are we good? And I was like, I'm kind of pissed. Like you asked me to do something. You should trust me enough to let me do something without, But I was like, we're good, man. Dude, I'm your buddy. I'm still your buddy. Yeah. But like also sometimes I gotta be like, motherfucker, like
this happened at work actually like I want to say a month ago. I went off. And I've been so agreeable because I'm like, oh, a new position, I'm learning a lot of stuff, I'm moving up in the company, yay, right? And I've been so agreeable, so much so that my reviews are literally like, you're the most agreeable person I ever had there. I want to see some, like my boss was even saying like, dude, I want to see some personality. Like, I want to, like, you're a smart guy, you've a lot of experience, like I want to hear what you have to say. So then like I started, releasing like, hey, I think we need to start doing this because we're not hitting budgets, whatever. We need to start doing this. And then one day, like, I don't know, I got super mad at some higher up, right? And I was just like, my supervisor's like, yeah, so this. And I was like, don't even talk to me about it. And I just went off for 2 hours. I like made sure he listened to every word I said, and I was just talking shit, and I just railed off, and he's like, his jaw was just dropped because he'd never seen that side of me. And then afterwards, I was like, I'm gonna walk out, and I might not come back tomorrow. That's what I said to him. And I was, this is a job that like, this is my dream job.
Yeah.
I mean, in the trade, right? I mean, as much of a dream job as you can get.
As you can get in a trade that you don't.
But this is my dream job. And I'm I'm fucking walking out, and I'm not coming back. Or I might come back. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So then I walk away, I talk to another guy, and he's like, I was in, we've been dealing with the, this and that. That's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
And so I call him down, and I go like, I'm sorry. And then like the next, I think it was like a day or two later, I like talked to him like, hey, like, I'm sorry for like just freaking out.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with you. I just was like, my threshold had been reached, and I just had to vent. Otherwise I was going to like, I don't know, just quit. Like, whatever. I didn't want to quit. I like the job. I like everyone I work with, but like, I just let it all out. And he's like, I'm not going to lie. He's like, I don't want to say I was shocked because everything you said was accurate, but like, he's like, I just couldn't believe, like, I'm not used to that from you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it probably won't happen again unless something crazy, some bunch of BS like totally trickles down and it becomes a huge problem again. But it felt great in the moment. I was like, fuck this, fuck you, fuck you. I was like, it was literally like, fuck you, you're cool, I'm out kind of thing. It was literally like the half-baked thing. Yeah. And but except for 2 hours of it, just I made everyone hear me out.
That's the thing is like you like
it won't happen
finding
again,
a balance of I need to have this conflict because this point needs to be addressed. But I shouldn't let it stew to the point where I fucking blow off like a pressure relief valve and just go, fuck you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, finding that balance has been like a battle as an adult, man. Because like I was so afraid of conflict when I was a kid. Like I would have like adrenaline pumping in my throat just because someone was like, hey, can you do this instead of what you're doing? Like I asked you to do that. And I would be like, ooh, 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 ooh.
It happens to me still now. I have a lot of people that fucking, like, a lot of people, so I work nights and I run a lot of stuff and I do a lot, like, I don't say I have a super busy job, but like I do a lot of different things, right? Yeah. And so when I come in, I get lineups from like 4 or 5 people some days, right? And dude, it's like those guys are like, this is the thing I do. So like, this is what I need you to do. Mm-hmm. And then like, they'll tell me and I'm like, all right, cool. It's like, well, why don't you start doing this now? And I'm like, I have 4 other people to talk to and I got 4 other things to do tonight. Like, thank you for sharing. I'm gonna move on and find out what else.
You can tell me what to do, but let me pick them up.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'll go around, and then by the end of the night, or not even by the end of the night. This is so inaccurate. I'm sorry. Like an hour or 2 later, right? So it's like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah. My supervisor comes around. He's like, hey, well, I just talked to big man, and he's like, this is what's got to get done tonight. And I'll be like, not even close. So after like talking for an hour and a half with everyone and getting lineups and figuring out what my night's going to be, it'll be different, which is fine, but is the most frustrating thing in the world. So now I just come in and like let them play micromanager. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'll do what I can. Cool. All right, I got to go see this guy. And that's what I do now because because I was getting mad, like raving mad, where I'm like, all right, man, just stop. Yeah. Thank you. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm going to come in at 5. Just leave it in your lineup. Because I just don't want to hear it. Yeah. Like, I don't want 4 people telling me what I need to do for it just gets old. But I found some kind of balance. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to go to work and be annoyed by this and be mad. So, you got to find that balance of how to manage that. And then like managing personalities, that's the biggest. We've talked about that before. So that's where I'm at now, as I finally kind of dialed that in. Yeah. So I think blowing off on the top or off the top is going to be less frequent.
For me, it wasn't always like just work stuff. Yeah. Like having any conflict with anybody at all. Yeah. I was like scared shitless of. Yeah. Because like if you had a conflict in our family growing up, if you had a conflict, you'd get flipped out on. Yeah. And your life would get shut down because you didn't just agree. Yeah. So like, so that was the spearhead. That was a spearhead of that. It's like, oh, you disagree? Oh, well then now you don't get to have the life that you had. Right. So like, but now I've worked through that as an adult, and like I had a conflict last night with a complete stranger. We went to go vote. Yeah. And I'm standing 10 inches away from the wall. Yeah. My back is to the wall, 10 inches away from the wall, and I'm like looking at my phone, waiting for Paige to finish voting. Yeah. And this lady goes, "Excuse me," and tries to walk behind me. There's not another person in the hallway. So I stopped her and I went, and showed her how to walk in front of me. And she was like, ah. And like used your key to, like, she worked in the building we were at.
Yeah.
She was, and like unlocked the door and walked into the office that she was going into. And I laughed like the Joker for 20 minutes while I was waiting for Paige. I was like, cause like that would have bothered the shit. That would have bothered the shit out of me. You're going to be like, excuse me. Like I'm blocking I was basically against the wall.
Yeah.
And you were like, you're going to make me move.
Right.
So that you can get between me and the wall instead of walking, you know, I don't know, like it would have taken, like you had 30 feet of middle school hallway that you could have walked around me, but you make me move like you're some important. So
you know what I do in those situations? Cause I'm, you know me, I'm such a troll.
Yeah.
And no one even knows it. Like they think I'm, so like a lot of my sincerity of like I apologize a lot and I don't mean any of it a lot of times, unless it's personal, you know, unless it's like something I really did, but like I act like a total like pussy ass clown. Like, so like if I was in that situation, which has probably happened for sure, I'll just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, and I'll just like, I'm sorry.
In the way.
I'll get in the way and then out of the way and then in the way again.
The door.
And then just be like, oh, and then start laughing, you know, my bad.
Right.
And that's how I react to everything in life. It's just like make you unsure of what I really mean by what I'm doing. Yeah. I had this actually I had this friend and we used to discuss this like really weird shit all the time back in high school. And this chick I was really good friends with for a long time. And we were talking about, she's like, you're such a like silly, like, you're so silly, but like no one gets it. And I was like, I know. I was like, it's because I use emotions that aren't true at the time, all the time. I always don't say what I mean and I don't show you what I'm actually feeling. And to me, deep down makes like... Yeah,
it makes being friends with you really easy.
Oh, for sure. No, it doesn't. But, well, it's different. In real
really
connective... In real connected relationships, I'm not that way.
Yeah.
But I like to keep everyone guessing that's not my friend. You know, if we're not close and we're not... If I don't know you, you don't need to know what I'm feeling. I'm not going to be transparent. It's not about guarding anything either. It's just fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm not hurting anyone's feelings or hurting anything, but I'll do it in a way that makes you think still. Like I'm not going to be like, you should not do this because it's incorrect. I'm going to make you feel, I'm going to make it super awkward, make you uncomfortable. And then later you're like, this guy, I didn't understand what he was doing. And then you'll think about it and be like, you might be a better person because I was being like the Andy Kaufman of just normal human interaction.
Or you just annoy dumb people.
That's awesome too.
And then they're like,
there's no loss.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I hate this guy.
You're like, everyone does. Everyone does. Dude, I've been doing this bit.
That's fine.
I've been doing this bit. So talking about being like conflict.
Yeah.
I've been doing this bit that if anyone talks to me about football at work, I just start yelling. Cause like, oh, it's football season.
Yeah.
And then a guy will go, oh, you see fucking Wisconsin? And I'll just be like, don't! No!
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Why are you doing this? And I don't stop until they leave.
Yeah.
Or if I'm feeling silly and I don't feel like working yet,
yeah,
I'll just start throwing out names that aren't names.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, fucking Benny? Did you see Benny last night on Detroit? And like, who? There's
this guy doing squares at work, and like me and my supervisor were cracking up because the guy was like, yeah, we're, pick your squares, whatever. And he's like, but we are doing this. Like, it's the same game in multiple areas, or like different, like his friends and family and stuff, like they're all playing the same stuff. Uh-huh. He's like, so if you play the same thing as other people and like you both win, we'll just draw your numbers out of a hat. And we're like, why are we doing this then? I don't know. It's silly, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's how you're supposed to do it. I don't know. I don't do that. It doesn't sound right.
You pick your squares because you're trying to win by getting it exact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fucking whatever. Also, hey, tell me more stories about football so I can do the bit.
Okay. So, did you watch that game the other day? Why are you yelling?
Why?
Are you okay? Oh. Are you okay?
Stop!
You want to buy a square?
No! Do I want to buy a square?
You want me to draw you numbers out of a hat?
My ghetto kid brain just came back and I was like, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't want to buy a square from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I can't stand. I understand the fun of the politics of football and like, oh man, they're trading this person, they're trading that person, they have this going on. But also like, I don't know. I don't give a shit about it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never got that. The only thing that's even close for me is following disc golf. Like I followed disc golf religiously for a few years. Like I watched every single game on on Jomez Pro on YouTube.
Super fun.
I watched every single every round. I was like, this was like when Paul Macbeth and Ricky Wysocki are, you know, like the top two guys. Eagle McMahon was starting to come in to play. Nico LaCastro was like kind of, he went from like the guy to like kind of being like second card guy. Yeah. You know, but like I was obsessed with that, and that's the only thing that I've ever, other than skateboarding, the only thing I followed where I was like, this is the thing. This is my thing. Yeah. I never understood football. I never understood it. Like what a commitment to like on these days you have to watch for this many hours and you have to try to follow all these teams and all these
the
players
stats and information.
Stats.
I don't know.
Holy shit.
It's not my cup of tea. And so many people I know that watch that shit, like I don't even think they were ever like really sports guys in general, but they're like obsessed with sports at the same time. So it's even more confusing. I'm like
they never played them themselves.
I'm like, I don't know. I mean, everybody probably dabbles with sports when they're kids, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like you never were on a baseball team. What are you obsessing about the Tigers for? I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's a disconnect for me because it's like I'm a doer. Like I get obsessed.
Everything
with things
that I follow is something that I do
exactly
at a different level.
Right.
You know, we've been playing disc golf for 13 years. Yeah. 15 years. Yeah. So watching pros play, it's like, oh man, that's like cool.
You get it.
You know, I understand what they're doing.
And you're like, well, how did he do that?
But to be on the flip side of this, there's a YouTuber called Destroying. It's like 2 E's in his name, I think, maybe 3. Destroying. Okay. He does these competitions where it's like a running back and a defensive back, and 1-on-1, and they're running routes, and like they'll do this like bracket style competition where you get down to like the last defensive back and the last running back. Yeah. And then whoever wins the whatever, the rep. Yeah. Wins money. And it's like, sometimes it's $10,000, you know? Right. And like seeing those guys and like just appreciating the athleticism of some of these kids is like, that is really fun for me to watch. Yeah. But then I watch NFL and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Right. Like I don't care at all. Yeah.
It's cool to see somebody's abilities and them being great at whatever it is they do. But
yeah. I'm like that with anything though. Like I'm a fan of like the greatest of anything.
Oh yeah.
If you're like, dude, look at this badminton player, I'll enjoy it. But I don't give a fuck about
a stretch, but yeah,
a little bit, but like the best. Look at this, the best out. Mountain biker.
Have you seen that viral video of the ping pong fake out yet? The ping pong fake out, fake pump or whatever. It's like, that was my point. That was kind of like
that's what I'm saying. But everyone's interested in that. Yeah, everyone's interested in that. Or like the name 5 mountain bikers. You fucking can't.
No, and I love mountain
you can name you can name the best guy at freestyle mountain bike.
Right,
Danny.
Well,
Danny from Red Bull. Danny Macaskill, whatever. Macaskill. Yeah. The guy that does these incredible fucking videos where like, right. I guess he's kind of like a trials rider, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, Ken Block, the greatest like trick drifter. Yeah. Ever. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I don't know what the fuck to call him. He's like a rally racer, but he's like doing tricks that don't really translate to racing, but maybe they do. Tanner Faust, you know, like you can name like the greatest of something. Dave Mirra and Ryan Nyquist and Matt Hoffman. Yeah, those were the motherfuckers. But I tell you what, you load up that game, I don't know, fucking like 10 of the characters. Right. Like even though I've been playing that game for 25 years. Right. You know, but yeah, to like be so obsessed.
I'm also weird in the fact that I don't really like pay attention too much to like, and this is probably actually something I need to work on. Like I don't really care too much about like what these people, like it's cool that they did it. I'll watch the videos. I'll watch them do their thing. Yeah. But I don't hold on to I'm very selective on what I hold on to, memory wise, especially. Like, I don't even know like if we start talking about a movie, I could not name you an actor in the movie until it's so filed back.
That's so weird to me.
It's so filed away. It doesn't live in like, I don't know.
That's so weird to me. Like if you name any movie that's popular that we watched, I'll know all of the actors. Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why you're not like that.
It's not because I don't remember anything. It's because I file things that are unimportant away in this deep place. Like this, and it takes me like 5 minutes to get there. And then once I'm there, I could be on that
That's
point.
something that we've talked about is just like talking about personality differences between you and I is like one of the main differences is that you I've said, like, dude, this thing only has as much weight as you put into it. So like if you think that, it's going back to that Generation X thing I started to talk about. It's like if you just think everything is lame, well then you're not gonna like put any weight into it. Like, oh, fucking whatever's lame. Oh, disc golfing is fucking lame.
Right.
Okay, sure, you can say that, but also
I don't really think anything's lame.
You can
People
you can
think
deep
I think
dive,
that, but I'm not that way.
You used to be like that. You used to be like, oh, this is so gay. Like, oh, you love this? It's so dumb,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We've always liked similar things.
Yeah, but like, whatever weight you put into the thing, like we're saying about football, like I don't get it.
Yeah.
But in the same veil, a lot of the guys that are like football guys are like, why do you know the fucking drummer's name of this band?
Yeah.
And it's like, because this is important to me. Like, I fucking love Animals as Leaders. I love Periphery. I love like Matt Halpern, fucking Danny Carey, Neil Peart.
Right.
Like I just start naming off Terry Bozzio, like these Buddy Rich, all these people that are
because
important
you are
to me.
A drummer,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
or
a musician in general.
A musician in general, like those guys I know better than guitar players, but I still know guitar players. It's like those, like what those people did is important to me because like I'm, I've been a musician my entire life.
Right,
so
right.
Listening and paying attention to what people have done and put out.
I actually had that conversation with this guy. He was like obsessed with politics at a place he used to hang out at. Older guy, but we were talking about, I was like, look, man, I was like, I love the information you give me. And makes valid points. Super smart guy, crazy smart. Just like you can tell, scholar, book reader. That's his entire existence is that.
Yeah.
And I love talking to people like that because I can hang in the conversation even if I don't know. I know how to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
So that way it is interesting for me, and I kind of retain some of the knowledge. But I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't follow politics like that. I don't really know a lot about it. I don't really care. I agree with some things. I disagree with others, like any other human being.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, and then we were talking about that. And I was like, I'm the same thing with sports. Like I can enjoy a Michigan versus Michigan State game and have a few beers and just get crazy with the crowd. But I'm not going to hold on to it. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about the next day. I don't care.
I'm not going to fly a Michigan flag in my yard.
And he goes, and he made that exact point. He's like, well, how you are with music is how people are with the thing they like. Like I'm super into politics and sports, and this guy is super just all sports, nothing but sports. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like I don't know why it was so hard for me to like just realize that.
Yeah.
Not like it was like an enlightening experience to have that conversation, but I was like, yeah, that's true. It is just the same thing.
But there is something to be said about like,
and I'm also not like that well versed in music enough to talk to like a musician, like a scholar in music, right? They're gonna be like, oh, do you know this classical piece by blah blah blah? And I'm like, no. Canon and E minor. No, I don't know.
Not my jam. But if you talk to me about anything from the 80s to like the 2010s, like exactly. I'm well versed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it is important to grow past that. Like when I was a kid, I used to think that people were wrong because like certain things weren't for me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fucking football. Like why does nobody see how lame that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you could also say like, you're watching skateboarders like do dangerous shit down big stair sets. Like, why is this person jumping downstairs? Why does that matter?
I think that's all part of developing your stance as an individual, or just developing your individuality. As you start by like being kind of like this extreme individual where it's like that sucks or that's terrible or I would never watch. Who cares? Why would you watch that? Why would you just like when you're talking about I used to be that way? Well, yeah, everybody in their 20s is that way because you're developing the character you're going to be the rest of your life. I don't want to be the guy that sits at the bar every Sunday watching football. I mean, I kind of don't.
Yeah.
Don't care. I decided.
But there is something fun about having a season of things that you get to go through every year.
Not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's super cool.
Like
I tried to get into it.
I'm becoming the guy who.
You called me out. Remember on Facebook? I was like, "Yeah, go Spartans," and you're like, "You don't even watch football, dude." I was like, "I am now." That didn't last very long.
Now, because of Paige, I'm starting to become the guy that like enjoys these seasons of these like reality shows, which I would have never enjoyed them before, but their
Right.
their politics in a different way. Like
Yeah.
we watched Big Brother, and it's like hilarious watching people like manipulate each other.
Yes.
For the entire season.
It's creep. I can't watch those things because it makes me
kind of
nervous.
bothers me.
It makes me
out.
uncomfortable.
But we also have been watching like The Bachelorette and The Bachelor and The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette.
Rock of Love, baby. Rock of Love.
Rock of Love, dude.
It's the
New
funniest.
York.
Yeah.
Do you remember New York from Flavor of Love?
Yep.
That was she was an important her coupled with a DVR where I could just be like do clip play do play do play. That was a big deal in my brain as like a 12-year-old kid. Oh man, dude, the chick Basketball. Do you remember Basketball from Flavor of Love? I think her name. No, her name was Hoops. What the fuck am I saying?
I don't know.
Her name was Hoops.
I don't really
because she played
watched
basketball.
The show,
She
but
looked that show was 20 years ago. She
Yeah.
looks exactly the same. She's
Really?
on Instagram. She looks exactly the
That's
same. as she
awesome.
did.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm scared what I'm gonna look like in 20 years. I gotta start doing some shit.
Yeah.
I'm getting
We're at
old.
like an hour 40. Do you want to?
Yeah, well, let's
cut
call it
this
quits
one?
because I gotta go to work.
You got 2 hours. We're
Do
gonna
I?
record another one. It's 1:50.
Oh, dude, it's early.
We're recording another
Okay,
one. Don't
let's
be a
do it.
bitch. All right.
All right, man.
This one
Hey,
we're actually gonna
calm
have an
down.
actual outro
No
on.
name calling. I don't want people to know what I identify as.
Homosexual.
Good times noodle salad.
You know what? I took a note before I end this one. I took a note that I want to start plugging. I want to plug the Instagram, the YouTube, so
Yeah.
as hard as it is for me to like plug things because it feels cringy to me. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all of the I know it's like self-promotion feels so cringy to me, but
Make sure you hit that bell.
yeah, hit
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Get notifications.
I don't know why you're doing it like you're what is that accent? Yeah, fucking rah.
That's
Whatever.
just a hey. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it does
I'm
make
being
it does
silly.
make a difference, and we want to make this something, right? So, subscribe, follow us, blah blah blah,
Do your thing. Do
Yeah.
your thing.
and also, to be good to yourself.
But
Yes.
a lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.